Welcome. This is a big day for the University of Oregon. Hi, I'm Jennifer Winters with the University of Oregon Communications team, and we are so happy to welcome you to this YouTube event. For members of the media who are joining us via Zoom webinar, we will be making you a panelist, and you will raise your digital hand in order to answer a question, or rather ask a question. We're going to try and get to as many questions as we can today, and we are really thrilled to be here. Now, I'd first like to introduce our president, President Carl Schultz. He's going to be giving some remarks, and then he and our athletic director, Rob Mullins, will answer your questions. President Schultz.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Last March, I was given the opportunity of a lifetime where I was given the opportunity to be the 19th president of the University of Oregon. It's a tremendous privilege and a great responsibility. I spent a lot of time with the trustees where we're engaged in dialogue about how to move the university forward, but there's a common theme to everything that we talked about. And that theme is, how do we make the University of Oregon an even better university 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years from now? Today, we have been granted one of those opportunities. Earlier today, the Big Ten Conference invited us to become a member of the Big Ten. The Big Ten is not only a remarkably strong athletic conference, it is one of the premier academic conferences in the country. Indeed, I would say it is the finest academic athletic conference in the country. By inviting the University of Oregon to be a member of the Big Ten, we have opportunity to accelerate our extraordinary record of innovation and success on the playing fields, as well as to enhance significantly the academic reputation of the university. I'm enormously excited about this opportunity and look forward to answering questions along with our amazingly successful athletic director, Rob Mullins, to engage in this conversation. So thank you for being here, and let the questions begin.
Welcome. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead, sir. We can hear you, so please go ahead, sir.
Okay, I can't quite hear you on my end, but I just wanted to ask, this is for both of you, and including Rob Mullins. What is the future, and what do you want to do with the rivalry in all sports with Oregon State? Do you intend to play those every year?
Sure. Thanks for the question. Absolutely. Obviously, we have a rich tradition with our in-state competitors, and that was something that we will try to work out in every sport to continue those rivalries.
Yes, Rob, can you give some insight into how much of a role Phil Knight played and the work that Navigate did for you folks over the last 13 months, and at what point the Pac-12's efforts became untenable for the university and the athletic department?
Yeah, obviously we've been working, over the last 13, 14 months about getting a great understanding about ourselves, right? Our TV ratings, our social media reach, our demographics, to make sure that we understood ourselves and were prepared for the changing landscape in college athletics. And that was very helpful, and Navigate was very helpful in that. So we had a really strong sense of ourselves, understood everything about ourselves, so that we could make a good decision. And we're proud to be here today and receive this invite and look forward to the future.
I'd like to just remind people to please raise your hand if you have a question, and go ahead and say your name at the beginning as well, please. Sorry, folks, we're just making sure we've got the next person on tap here.
Charles, can you confirm the report that the partial revenue share is starting at approximately 30 million and going up by 1 million each year through 29-30?
So there are a variety, I mean, there's a number of revenue streams associated with this. There's the partial revenue share that you mentioned. There are proceeds from the football championship series. And then there are other ancillary rights that we expect to control. And so in the first part of the agreement, we will be receiving partial shares. Those shares are commensurate and in fact are larger than the media rights that we thought would be attainable through other mechanisms. And then we transition into being a full member. Over the 10 years of the deal, we anticipate averaging over $50 million just from direct media rights. And that, one of the things I'm really proud about the University of Oregon is that tuition revenue does not end up supporting our remarkable athletic program. And we needed to continue to find opportunities to support the athletic program to keep that the case, so we can invest both in world-class academics and world-class athletics. And we think this deal provides that opportunity.
Again, we want to remind you, please raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. We are waiting to see if there's someone else who would like to raise their hand. Rob, would you like to add anything about your perspective on how this will improve and really benefit the university and our student athletes?
Sure. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we're very proud of the rich history and tradition of our student athlete success and the support that's provided to those student athletes. And in this shifting time of college athletics, it's our jobs to make sure that we provide those opportunities to them. And this was that opportunity, and we're pleased to have it.
And Jennifer, can I say a bit more as well, that this is a fantastic opportunity for our athletic program, but it's also a great opportunity for the academic side of the institution. The Big Ten operates a couple different consortiums. One, the Council on Institutional Cooperation, another, the Big Ten Academic Alliance. And in my previous academic job, I was able to participate and observe those activities for the last decade. And the collaborations that emerge from that, the ideas, as I said, the collaborations will make the student experience better, the research enterprise better, and help make us a better university. That, along with the visibility that this deal provides, makes it, again, a remarkably beneficial opportunity.
Thank you very much, President. I'm going to see, I think we've got another question here so that we're going to get answered here.
The messaging had been, in the interest of preserving the Pac-12 and keeping it together with the 10 remaining schools. From your seat, and it seems obvious in some ways, but maybe not in others, when did that no longer become tenable for the University of Oregon? And can you kind of share your sort of maybe a little bit of a TikTok of the last 24 hours of how we ended up in this position today?
Was that for me? Okay, great. Listen, all along we've done everything we could to find an opportunity forward with the Pac-12. And so, we worked hard all along. And then I'd say over the last few days, obviously the opportunity presented itself with the Big Ten, and we appreciate that opportunity. And we appreciate our colleagues in the Pac-12. And so I would say in the last 24 hours is when it really, really intensified. And it wasn't done until early hours of the morning.
I'll also add in that question, of course, USC, UCLA left the conference a year or more ago, and then Colorado's departure, so it was not the Pac-10, it was the Pac-9, and so those are challenging times. The landscape for major intercollegiate athletics is changing, and it's conference realignment, it's name, image, and likeness, it's the transfer portal, and all of those things make this it's a challenging time. And so I think every institution or every university in the conference has been exploring and thinking about what next? How do we position ourselves to be as strong as we can going forward?
All right, I think we've got another question here.
Rob, a week ago, when you spoke to the board, you called Dan's contract the first part of a bold vision for the athletic department. I'm assuming today, obviously, is the second component of that. Can you speak to just what the next steps are? Obviously, the new indoor facility is well under process in terms of finishing up with the city approval, but what else? Where does Autzen expansion or renovation come in? What is the next part of this bold vision?
Right. This is the next step of that bold vision, and it sets us up for the future in this changing landscape for sure. And in that changing landscape, there's a lot of elements. Obviously, the coach's contract was a big piece. This is a significant piece, and the facility that you reference is a big piece, as is making sure that we're providing all those support elements for our student athlete in the modern game, and then also making sure that we are understanding NIL and that we are being progressive. We have one of the best facility infrastructures in all of college athletics to support those student athletes. So of course that's an element. Autzen is a key piece for us. I mean, football generates 70% of the resources that support these 20 sports. And as you know, that north side does need some work. The south side's phenomenal. So that has been on our radar for a long time and will continue to remain on our radar.
Rob, is there any sort of sadness around that athletic department right now in terms of having to leave the Pac-12 and make this move? Well,
first, there's a lot of excitement, right? This is a tremendous opportunity for everyone in our department. But of course, we've been long-standing members of the Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12. It was the Pac-10 when I arrived, and the Pac-12. And we have a lot of friends in this league. And these types of changes do impact people, and we have those deep relationships with those people. So sure, we are thinking about those people in this change as well.
I want to add, and it's not just the athletic department, it's across the university and across our alums. And this is one of those situations where we're humans and we are capable of more than one emotion at a given time. And so in one hand, we are phenomenally excited about the opportunities ahead. On another hand, they say, just give me a one-handed economist sometime. But on the other hand, we feel real pain for our colleagues across the Pac-10 and recognize, just as Rob said, that this is both a difficult and a joyous day, and we feel both emotions.
I have kind of two questions relating to Oregon State. I'm going to try to wedge them both in here at once. Were there conversations directly with the leaders at Oregon State and any efforts to, if possible, move as one or make moves that would be mutually beneficial for the two state institutions? And then the second question regarding football, Rob, would you commit to playing a home and home in football with Oregon State into perpetuity?
First part of the question, when you're in these kind of discussions about media rights, as with anything in the league, you're having constant communication with all of your colleagues. So absolutely, there is continuous communication with all of them. But obviously, our focus is we focused on the Pac-12 and then having the conversations as well with the Big Ten the last couple of days. As I said earlier, our goal would be to schedule Oregon State in every sport that's possible. Football scheduling can be complicated, because of how far out it is, and the difficulty of playing non-conference games later in the year. But our goal would be absolutely to continue to play Oregon State.
We're going to have time for one more question, so I'm going to go ahead and tee that up here for you, gentlemen.
For both of you, much is made, it was made of the LA schools and will be made of this in terms of the logistics of this to the athletes, to the players, and the travel back and the hours and whatnot. Can you speak to the assurances or guarantees and commitments regarding charter travel for not just for football to the East Coast, but for all sports to when you are playing Maryland and Rutgers and Penn State on Sundays and on weekdays? What level of commitment is there for charter travel and the impact and input that players had in this process?
Well, absolutely. The student athlete experience is our highest priority, and obviously travel is a piece of that. We don't have those details down to the fine point on charters at this point. Obviously, we know there's going to be some added travel cost, and we will solve for that. In our conversations with the leadership at the Big Ten, they understand the importance of scheduling, and I was very impressed with how thoughtful they are to this and the impact. So I'm confident we'll find a good solution to make sure we find the right balance for our student athletes.
The only thing that I'll add is, well, we are very early in this journey. The reaction of our coaches, and I believe the reaction of the athletes who we've been in touch with has been very, very positive, because our student athletes are both great students and want to compete at the highest level in their respective sports. And this provides an opportunity for enhanced competition. I can also say our alums, so far, again, very early, have been very, very excited about this. I know my enrollment management vice president is really excited about this, because Duck Magic is more available now as a consequence of this partnership beginning in the summer of 2024 or in August of 2024 than it was available. We have than it was previously. We have a lot of our games now available on linear TV. We have our games available across the country, and that is going to accelerate knowledge about the wonderful things that are happening at the University of Oregon.
Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, President Schultz. Thank you, Athletic Director Mullins. And have a great day. We appreciate you joining us for this news conference.